Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's reading is going to be from the universe, so that you can take this as like a general message from the universe. We'll see what comes through. I'm going to leave it open for the universe to really bring through a message. So if you use different words, you could say this is a message from God, Source, Divine Spirit, the universe, whatever feels correct to you. So I'm going to pick out piles, okay. See them all here. All right. So let's take a look at each pile. So for today, pile number 1, you have the blue topaz with finding a spiritual ally, higher wisdom, abundance, and forgiveness. Okay. For pile number 2, you have pyrite, good change of fortune, success, renewed focus, and leadership. For pile number 3, you have Shungite with protection from modern ills, grounding, everyday healing, and purifying. And lastly, pile number 4, you have Rhodochrosite with service, contentment, healing, emotional wounds, and renewal of passion. All right. So I'll leave these with you to pick your piles. Pick however many call to you. After this, I'll go straight into the shuffling process. Otherwise, you can go straight down into the description and jump straight to your reading. Hello everyone, welcome back to the shuffling process. So we'll get into it. I'll just let you know what the incense I'm burning, because I feel like this is a good place to do all the chit chats. Again, this is a message from the universe. It feels very, very core at my heart. It's kind of like this might be a love message, or maybe not about the emotional love, but just love of self, others, and connection as one kind of collective being, you could say, being part of everything. So while we're talking about this as a message from the universe, this is also a message from everyone and everything as well, not just some grand kind of being. We're also part of that. That wanted to be very clear. Okay, and this one here. But I am burning some incense, and today is gardenia. This batch is from Bali. Oh, this one. Coming through interestingly. So these were shuffled beforehand. I just like to give them another quick shuffle, and whatever jumps out, I take. Okay. Actually, I might just move these down because I think they are going to get lost because they're little, so I might put them on top. All right, so a message from the universe. Okay. It's popping out. Oh, there we go. It's like there's one down here. Here it is. Try to move these. Might just put these away. Also, I'm listening to Celtic harp meditation. It's really nice. It's a YouTuber called Nature's Spirit. If you haven't listened to him, he sometimes sings, chants, plays on the harp, plays the flute, plays everything. Does everything. It's like Jack of all trades, but it's really nice music, really soothing. Really nice presence too. I don't know him, but you know, it's nice to shout out the music that I'm listening to sometimes as well. A lot of the time it's just radio, like I guess not cool down, chill music, relaxation music. More so than this kind of more softer meditation type stuff, but you know, whatever tickles my fancy on the day, I guess. Okay, a message from the universe. I know you want to pop out. You're 3, okay. It's interesting when I'm like, oh, it's this one, and then they're like, not for this pile. Like, okay, my mistake. Okay. As you can see, I'm wearing a jumper. You wouldn't think it gets cold enough in Brisbane to wear warm weather clothes, but sorry, not warm weather, warm clothes. But once you climatize, you find any change, like this is winter down here, so while we don't have snow, absolutely not getting snow, definitely doesn't get very, very, very cold compared to when I lived in New Zealand, but still cold enough when you climatize and you get used to 30 degrees and then it gets under 20 and you're like, oh, that's cold. Celsius I'm talking about. So, no, it is still a shift and a change. But to be real, it's very nice outside in the sun. Okay, these are some chunky cards. This is a new deck I got because I stream on Twitch and I had a lovely viewer, sub friend get this for me, so I really appreciate it. And I'd like to incorporate it into the readings. Okay, so I think I put these on now. Then we'll put the tarot on top. So today's tarot are the Guardians of the Night, or Guardians of the Night tarot, and the Real Talk tarot. Both have lovely kind of energy. I do like these ones. I think I've said it enough, but the Guardians of the Night definitely have a... What do they have? They have like a oracle card kind of vibe to me, because it's generally like nighttime animals, that kind of thing, so it doesn't always stick to traditional tarot, let's say, because they're all animals. Touches on some deep topics. The lady who created it, you could tell by when she's talking about the cards that she really thought about these and the imagery. So I do like that. This one here, MJ Helene, something like that. Really nice deck, really good cards. Bit more darker looking, I guess, as well. So that can kind of be a bit different for people, but just because it's like at nighttime doesn't mean it's shadow or negative or dark. Okay, a message from the universe. Also, I'll put in the description. I don't know if I have my Twitch, but I'll put my Twitch in there too, because I know some people, you know, may not use Twitch or be introduced to Twitch, but have a look at it. Maybe it is something you want to check out. I do free readings there as well. I also have Etsy if you want like a private reading, because on Twitch it's all in public, and I connect to people's energy. It's not, I guess when you're right in front of someone, or you have an item of theirs and you're connecting with loved ones and things like that, or guides, much easier. But I think doing it online, you can actually do a lot more than people would think. This one. Okay. Okay, so that is the shuffling process. Thank you for being here and sharing your energy as well. I do appreciate it. We'll see how these will come together with the smaller cards kind of in the middle. But here are your 4 piles. So again, you've got blue Topaz, Pyrite, Shungite, and Rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite's been popping up a lot lately, which is interesting because I think it's getting out of kind of like fear and stuckness and starting to switch that up into service to self and others, and finding a calm period, let's say. So I think that's why it's coming back out, because then it's like, okay, I'm getting into like I'm starting to do the work on healing. I'm starting to get out of fear. I'm starting to disconnect from negative energies. I'm starting to balance myself. You know, it's that process, and I think it's instead of being in like a downhill, it's kind of like that kind of like balancing and plateau, let's say, and the shift now to the upwards. Not trying to sell this pile. I don't know what's in it. But Rhodochrosite's just been popping up quite a lot in some of the readings that I've been doing for others, and also on YouTube. Anyway, go down to the bottom, you'll see the timestamps. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, part number 1. Welcome to your reading today. So this is a message from the universe to you. So you have chosen blue Topaz with finding a spiritual ally, higher wisdom, abundance, and forgiveness. This is interesting. The spiritual ally is an interesting one. See what comes through though today. Okay, so we're going to start with your oracle cards. So you have the quincunx, talking about dissonance, adjustment, and discord. And also Jupiter. I was going to say Juniper. Jupiter, optimism, growth, and opportunity. Okay, interesting, these two coming out together. Quincunx and Jupiter. It's like a shift, but it's showing like Jupiter really feels like showing growth and change from not necessarily toxic, but maybe challenging. Let's just say that. Let's just say challenging times. Which is where we have our biggest growth, from our breakups, from our losing jobs or finding new work. You know, that's where the biggest changes and growth come in, when we're going to school and dealing with, you know, a whole bunch of different social kind of interactions, learning, that kind of thing, like lots of stuff going on. That's when we learn and grow our best, I guess, is the way it wants to come through. So let's have a look at the rest of the cards. So we've got Nwanda, perfection. Interesting way of showing perfection. Kind of touches on perfectionism as well, a little bit. See what else comes through. You've also got storyteller. The light attribute is the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Shadow attribute is making up tales to harm others. I like that it's got like music and not just, you know, the way we tell our story. So this might also just touch on how we see ourselves in some sense and how we want to portray ourselves. I think it's starting to click in that it's like, oh, I just need to do me. No matter what, I just need to do me. That's how the energy of this is coming through. We've also got Energy Vampire, cut your energetic cords now. This may be between yourself, like, you know, how we can talk negatively to ourselves. It's time to cut those kind of cords. If it's other people, especially with this like Discord and adjustment, sometimes you can't necessarily just cut someone out. And generally, it's not going to be the best thing anyway if it's someone that's in your environment a lot. So it might be just, you know, minimizing access to them and also for them to have less access to your energy for sure. And you've also got Arcturian light codes with evolutionary downloads, recalling power, and future thinking. I think this is interesting, especially with right next to storytelling. It's kind of like, instead of worrying about what your story was in the past, what do you want it to look like now? This is about moving forward from all the difficulties and challenges and also all the growth and, you know, how it has changed over time. Because there's like forgiveness and abundance. It's like getting past some of this has brought in a lot more light into your life, let's say. And it depends where you're at, because you could be at a point of needing to cut these energetical cords or disconnect from someone in your present, but this could also be very old. You might be still giving away energy to that. You might have thought that, you know, it's kind of touching on, like, you know, on Instagram when you see photos and stuff of people's lives and think, why can't I have that kind of life? This is just a small snippet. If you see 3 or 4, let's say, minutes of someone's life, that could be, that's not their full life, right? And it doesn't matter what their full life is, because in the end, not living their life or comparing your life to them. So there's kind of this like no such thing. And I think he's kind of understanding that in some sense with this like fierce kind of warrior energy. I want to have a quick read of this one because it is a new deck and I want to see what messages are in the book as well. But you have the 7 of Cups. Very nice. It's like options. Talking about opportunities here, this is opportunities and options. Sometimes if we get given a huge amount of options, we're like, ugh, be easier if I just had one. And then when we're given one, we're like, ugh, I wish there was more options. So, you know, we are fickle creatures, but I like this because this is giving options. We've also got the 9 of Pentacles. She's partying on her bed, buying what she needs. This is like living out of fear, starting to enjoy, you know, celebrate your successes, celebrate what you've accomplished, celebrate even like cutting cords with someone that was not really vibing with you, if you want to say it like that, or someone that was not great for you in the past but is no longer in your present. Sorry, I was going to say parent, but maybe it is a parent for some of you. Like, you know, not really in that energy anymore. You're not that child anymore. You're not that person anymore, because it's just no longer there. So you don't need to keep it in your present like mindset, if that makes sense. This is all about getting into today, into the now, into this moment. And that's kind of where she's coming from. She's like, you know, maybe you don't have to do it by drinking wine, buying shoes, getting food and dancing on your bed, but like there's something about that that's like, yeah, why am I just like struggling, saving? I need to, you know, make sure that I'm actually enjoying myself. Doesn't mean you have to go out and spend money. You can just go out and have a day for yourself or catch up with friends or family or whoever, you know, it's up to you. Not everything has to be gained by money, otherwise billionaires would be happy. And they probably are in some sense, right? But there's still challenges and things that are probably very different to what I or maybe even you could kind of perceive. But there would be kind of a lot of fear around that. They, you know, if I'm just assuming, but you know, their interactions, are these people actually like me, or do they just like the fact that I have this money? You know, there's lots of like questions. You don't want to live like that, of course, but at the back of your mind, you would still consider some things as like, does this person actually care about me, or do they care about what I can get for them? Not that I'm trying to make excuses for the rich, but just an example. So you've also got the Four of Swords. It's kind of like what I was talking about, needing to take some time for yourself. It's like here she's partying alone, right? And here hibernating alone. This might be a good thing. Maybe you do need to heal and vibe with find some people that are really for you or connect with you, or maybe you don't need that at all. Maybe you're just for yourself, like not in a selfish way, just more in a need some time to yourself. Bubble bath, massage, whatever's right for you. This is such a very general. I know I went general with the universe, but the universe is like just wants you to kind of be happy. Is that's how it feels? Just wants you to feel joy and fun and create and play. With all the messages here, it's like write your own story. If you follow someone that is like a it's like I guess spiritual leader or something like that, just make sure you are also having your own experiences and that kind of thing. Like you can take bits and pieces from other areas of religion, spirituality, and create your own, because it's all about creating something that's for you, not just following, if that makes sense. It's like follow your own heart. Okay, that's what they want to say. I was like, how is this they're trying to portray it? But yeah, follow your own heart. And then you've got the Eight of Pentacles. This feels like doing what you enjoy, doing what gives you life. And that could be anything. That could be being a mother, father, caregiver. It could be doing the job that you enjoy, or even not doing the job you enjoy, but letting that be a catalyst, or the money, let's say, to do the hobby that you enjoy. Because sometimes not all things that you love doing have to be a job, if that makes sense. Like if you're really good at baking and enjoy baking, but don't want to do it mass produced kind of thing and do a job like that, that's absolutely fine. So this is like, I feel like I'm getting a message for every single card that's kind of coming out. It's like, get rid of this, clear this, also connect with yourself, because you are one with the universe. Like the universe isn't separate from you, as you are this. So it's not an ego saying that, it's more just knowing that you're all connected is really how it's coming through. If there are any adjustments need to be made, do that. Know that everything in here is growth. There's optimism, right? And I think seeing things with truth and also being on the positive side isn't such a negative thing, right? You have to see it with truth. It's not like going, something terrible happens and you're like, oh well, something worse could happen, something like that. That's kind of like not healthy optimism, I would say. I would say dealing with it, processing it, feeling what happened and getting through it, but just knowing that you'll be okay. You'll be able to get through this, trusting in yourself that you've gone through many things, and this is another step towards growth, self-mastery, I want to say. So I did want to read Perfection. There's but. So I don't know this god or titan. Nuada. So it says here, love and appreciate your uniqueness and your imperfections. It's got with quotations. Question the cost of chasing perfection. Delight in who you are. So it is touching on nothing is perfect. So if you're struggling, but you're doing really well, but you feel it's not perfect, then you're still in a sense or in the energy of struggle. Even though you might have a great house, great family, everything's working out fine, but you want this thing will make you happy, and then you get it, and then it's like, okay, the next thing and the next thing. It's time to just take a step back and have a look at what kind of tapestry of life that you're weaving, or what kind of song you're singing, what kind of book you're writing. It really is very higher up there, like the higher wisdom. It's like very that. It's very, very much so talking about that. I do like this evolutionary downloads. I feel like for you, you're already kind of meshing quite well with some of the changes that are occurring in the planet. You might think that you're not really, but I feel like you have already started to go on this kind of path. So you're already like, oh, the Earth and the world's changing like this. So am I, but like, you know, it's not. It's still going to have its struggles and changes and that kind of thing, but I feel like it's more manageable. When you really take a step back and look at it, you're like, oh yeah, this is going fine. This aspect what needs to work on, I need to pay attention to this, but overall, I feel like staying thriving in it. But of course, take some time for yourself. Consider the options. What, especially here with this like work, it's always like work kind of, you know, mastery, but it does feel like work, like what you do. Again, coming back to perfection. I feel like having a little bit of a light heart with this is really important. Just remember that not everything's so serious. It's okay to have lightness and move on from things you haven't forgiven, or like you haven't let someone off the hook for their behavior, but it's time to shift gears and adjust that kind of from the past to the present, and then planning for the future. Not living in the future, but planning for with the Arcturian light codes. Light code seems to be a big thing in talk at the moment, so why not add that in with this little kind of like aurora looking or rainbow looking vibes. Very nice, very cool, very interesting. Got to tell yourself the truth about the situation, because that's how you can take the next steps towards whatever you're looking for, whatever you want to do. I feel like it's a good time. This is like a really, you know, smiley face kind of read. Like, good work, you know, the past is past, got through it, got through whatever challenges those were. The past isn't always just challenges, right? Of course, there's always like fun. We just focus on some of the harsher stuff. Like, it's like when people read comments, sometimes they'll scroll through a whole bunch to find some of the negative ones, but then there's like a whole bunch of positive ones you kind of just glossed over and then focus on the more toxic ones. Not everyone does that. I think everyone's starting to shift now and seeing that, but you know, that's probably some habit we've had in the past, or sometimes that kind of irks us or whatever. I'm feeling like that's something to say and focus on, you know, the love that you receive, not just the snarky negative comments, because you don't know what's happening in their life or why, and so their opinion of you is kind of none of their business and none of your business either, because it's their opinion and they don't know you as like a full person. And sometimes we don't either. We're still discovering a lot of aspects of ourselves in every way and every day. Okay, I think that's all that the universe wants to kind of bring through here. Hopefully this has helped. Let me know in the comments if you have any kind of like extra information or how this resonated. I'd love to hear it. But thank you very much for being here. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So today you've chosen the Pyrite. This has the messages of good change of fortune, success, renewed focus, and leadership. I remember when I was a kid, it was like back in the day, they had, you know, I don't know if you'd all know, but they had like weekly volumes of magazines that would come out, and this one was for kids. Well, I guess for kids, it could be for anyone really, but it had like a rock or like some kind of gem in it, and I think one of the first one or the second one had pyrite, and I just thought it was amazing because I'd never seen obviously a rock like it, but it looks like a metal or whatever it is, gem, whatever you want to call it. It was just so different, and I remember collecting a couple of them and then stopped because it was like, you know, the first one's like $3 or something, and then the next one's $3, and then after that it's like $13, and wasn't from a rich family. So I couldn't keep collecting, but that was kind of really interesting, and I remember having one of these when I grew up. So it's kind of like, it's very important to me. I know it's back at home somewhere. It's a long story. I probably can't get it. We'll see. One day I might be able to. I actually don't know if it's still there, but that's where I left it last. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle cards. Instead of me talking about my life. You've got transits, insight, movement, and change. Yeah. You're, along with everyone else, going through some kind of shifts. Whether that's a shift because, you know, some of the collective have kind of gone over here and you're like either still here going, oh, let's move now, I guess, because I've waited long enough, and your higher self's like, oh, yeah, let's go. Or you're coming along already with the natural flow of the collective change, let's say. When I'm saying collective change, it's like the world kind of shifting and changing, environment changing, social, etc., etc., etc. Okay. You also have water with refreshing, mysterious, and fluid. This is kind of interesting. It does kind of feel like something it's like something deep being unearthed, let's say, or like you've woken up to a certain aspect that's like, oh, this makes sense now. It's not like an awakening, right? It's just something maybe similar or has that energy. Okay. So you've got Ganesha with obstacles. Yeah. Ganesha's interesting because this is the Hindu deity with the elephant head, and there's like a whole story about how that occurred. But he's really called in, especially, I don't know about traditional, but in the West anyway, from what I read, there's kind of called in to help with obstacles or clearing obstacles out of your way so you can see the path, so you know which kind of direction to head in that's correct for what you're working towards, manifesting, etc. So this is good. This is like feeling like clear. This is making more sense now. I feel like when I said you're either like coming along with the shifts or you're like higher self's like, oh, let's go, because everyone else is moving. I got to catch up. I feel like majority of you, probably all of you, are already with the flow of the shifts more so than playing catch up. Maybe in some areas, right? We're not perfect all the time. All right, Pioneer. The light attribute is passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Shadow attribute is compulsive need to keep moving on. That's so interesting because in like way back for me, I know I keep talking about me in this, but it's just these kind of examples are popping up. But for me, moving forward and just keep moving on was what I thought was correct for me. And I just kept moving on. It's like, oh, yep, this happened. Oh, well, instead of dwelling in the past, I'll keep moving on. But that kind of robbed me of experiencing like the feelings of what that meant to me. And it wasn't about dwelling in it. It was about understanding, feeling it, and learning the lessons, if there were any of it, or just seeing what kind of purpose it played in my life. Which is like feeling like here and now, definitely trying as much as I can, best I can, as we all do, to have that light attribute of actually utilizing what we've learned and to, I guess, with whatever practices, like if it's spiritual practices, creating one that's more custom to ourselves, medical, whatever, workout, health and lifestyle, food, whatever this is, maybe all of that, maybe some of it. It's just understanding ourselves better, I feel like, is how it's kind of coming through. But I do like good change. Fortunately, they just want to pop that back in. It's like, this is a good time. This is a good time. Focus on love, because this is a good time, is how the universe wants to say that. You also have cracked crystal. Time to heal yourself. This might be a good time to slow down if need be. Start doing things in a different way. If certain things aren't working for you, then maybe shift things, add. You don't have to go from A to Z, right? You can kind of have some A, have some B, C, D, you know, all the way down. You can kind of like mix and match what works for you. This feels like a, hey, you've gone through certain things to get to here. What worked, what didn't, and how can you adjust your present, or maybe add or subtract things from your present to like keep the water flowing into this next stage that we're heading into. Pretty much like this. Karmic board clearing, energetic clearing, rewriting a story, live your truth. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very similar to pile number 1 if you want to go watch that, if you're called to that as well. I don't know if there's going to be any extra information. It's just almost like a repeat, but slightly different. This is like, okay, cool. This shift is kind of clearing some energy out, and now it's like, oh, okay, now I've cleared the room out. Let's say like you had a storage room. What do I want to utilize this room for? Do I want to bring this aspect of the past in? Oh, I really liked that huge picture that was covered under the blankets or whatever. Now I can put that on the wall. You know, it's kind of like that. And I'm using that as a metaphor to be like your internal world, or maybe your food and health and whatever. Like, what do you want to start shifting and actually committing to? Because sometimes it does take a while. Like when we're exercising, if you want to do like running for 20 minutes every day or whatever, I don't know, whatever you want to do, it takes a while to get into a habit or into a process. And then you got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's the benefit of this? Oh yeah, I feel better. I feel healthier. I feel refreshed. It wakes me up. Whatever really feels right to you. It's got to actually have some purpose, or you have to put some intention into whatever that is. I keep getting bees on around a flower. I don't know what that means, but it's like maybe you're a busy buzzing bean. It's kind of like be present in this moment, because you can still keep buzzing around and doing your, you know, busy stuff, but make sure you're getting into today, getting into this moment. Even with this message right now, listen to the heed this message, not have this up and worrying about some other stuff at the same time. Take it in, take a breath, in and out. Oh, we got the Lovers card. Very nice. I do like that. Definitely about connections, for sure. This could also be the power of actual, like the energy of love. Not so much just lovers, but, you know, I love the vibration, because it's like you don't have to go around trying to like quote unquote save the world. If you radiate good high energy, the people around you will feel that, and they may even tune into that frequency and start radiating that. You might not even say anything to them. You just have like, you know, a nice interactions with them, that kind of thing. Giving, you know, some money to someone in need or whatever, you know, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be always a physical act. It can be just like that exuberance. I like that. Okay. You also have the Page of Swords, really interesting one. It's kind of like bam, powerful. But that also makes me think of voice as well, and truth. And again, live your truth. That's such a strong message here, right in the middle. Look after yourself, heal yourself. Just because it's cracked doesn't mean you are. It just means that there's some stuff that needs to be let go of, and maybe it already has. And so make sure you look after yourself, heal yourself, feel what needs to be felt, and then, you know, transmute, release what is no longer needed within you, like in your mind, in your heart. You also have the Moon. Okay, it's really just touching on fears. Like here with the karmic board clearing, it's like clearing old fears. It's no longer a lack, I feel. There's certain things that you have. There's obviously going to be certain things you have and certain things you don't have. Not everyone has everything. I don't even think billionaires have everything. They can't spend all their money, right? They don't have enough time in the day. But it's like, it's time to clear out, I guess, is what it's saying. It's like, do you still live in lack? Like right now, does it feel like you do? And it's like, why? Make sure you're balancing that out with gratitude for what you do have. We kind of realize that when we get sick sometimes. We're like, oh, I never am grateful for when I'm like healthy, right? When I'm healthy, able to walk and move and talk and get to work or whatever ailments or other things are going on, and then it gets taken away for a brief moment, and we're like, oh, it's so much easier when I could do this. I need to be more grateful. It's a good time to like reflect. Sometimes we get sick to like slow us down because we just won't stop otherwise, and we just burn out. So we end up getting sick or something else happens. So this is a good time. Slow down. Make some time for yourself. If you're doing it for like 5 minutes, you can have 5 minutes. 5 minutes of your day is not going to break anything. It's probably actually going to help you in the long run, save you for a moment. All right, and you've got the 8 of Swords. Really interesting, lots of swords here. Lots of thoughts and feelings around what makes you kind of, I don't want to say powerful, but what makes you feel accomplished is what I want to say. And I feel like this happens with a lot of really intelligent people, or very street savvy. I don't mean you have like multiple degrees, maybe you do, that either or, but really quick, smart people who adapt really quickly. Sometimes they can be the harshest critics for themselves, also get lost in their head. But right here, you've got these owls circling around. It's like, you know how to get out of this. They're like, you know what to do. You just need to stop, think clearly, and then move forward or act. So they kind of remind me of like guides hanging around. They're like, hey, you know how to get out of here. We'll wait for you to sort it out. But we're guiding you because, here's the only exit out. Good old guides. But this definitely is talking about it's time to start going with the shifts. I like that Ganesha is coming through, clearing some of the old. I did want to quickly read Ganesha though as well. Just quickly. The message here on the book is obstacles are removed or placed for good reason. Invite in a drama-free life. Don't we all want that? So that's why I'm talking about some of the blocks. Sometimes, the universe will slow us down because they need us to clear some stuff out. It's like, I want this, but, it's almost like you're a hoarder of stuff. And so your room's cluttered and you're like, yeah, but I want more. I can squeeze something in and I'll be happy. But you can't actually utilize the room or the mental space because it's so cluttered. So it has to be cleared. But I do like the karmic board clearing because it's almost like touching now back on, for some of you, that this is like a refresh. Like, see it as a refresh of releasing guilt, especially in like old energy. It's like, see this as like a clean slate. I feel like some people be like, oh, I don't want that because I feel like you can't just do that. Why not? Why not just do it? Why not just live like it's done? And then you won't be stuck on worrying about it. Focus on those that care for you and support you, and you support as well. Radiate those good vibes. I almost want to say, don't worry about the people that don't really have any hold or like any. It's not like they don't matter, but their energy doesn't impact you. It shouldn't impact you because you are you, and they're not in your sphere. So make sure you're actually focusing on what is present and actually true, and do you feel that way about yourself as well is really important here. There's so many little messages. The universe is like, hey, for you, blah, hey, for you, this. Lots of picks, so check the cards out for sure and just see what resonates and what's right for you. Because there feels like some movement, some shifts with the universe, and the world and the collective, whatever you want to say. So you're coming along with it nicely. You might even be undervaluing yourself or saying to yourself, oh, this is too hard, or I can't get out of this, or something like that. But you are doing it. You're literally like, you're doing it, you're living it, you're thriving in it almost, or you're you're taking on the challenge and you're doing it well. So appreciate yourself as well. I want to say, be kinder to yourself for sure, because this feels like a really harsh or heavy on yourself. And I feel like maybe that's why you put in a good change of fortune, but you're already living that. So see it as what you will, but that's exactly what I see in your cards today. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 2. Take care of yourself, look after yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen Shungite with the messages of protection from modern ills, grounding, everyday healing, and purifying. Okay, so let's see what the universe has to say to you today. Okay, so you've got the waning gibbous moon with harvest, reception, and gratitude. Very nice. Time to be good to yourself. You also have descendant with attraction, relationship, and partnership. This is almost like gratitude for what you have as like a connection. But also this descendant, it feels like, descending down a mountain or something like that. It just feels like this is the kind of like flow into the energy. Flow time, it's time to flow with it. Which makes sense with harvest, time to like collect and get what you've got. What you put in, you're starting to reap. Or this will be coming up soon. Or it could be even like, for some reason it's like, yes. And then it's like, yes. And then it's like, oh, this could be even like you're already starting to plant the seeds in now. Maybe you've already reaped and now you're planting new seeds, right? It doesn't just stop. But this is like the flow period. So make sure you celebrate yourself as well and pat yourself on the back. Be grateful to what you've accomplished and your body as well. It's just feeling very like that kind of energy with this protection and purifying. It's like a cleanse a bit. You also have Hermes with communication. I think this is kind of like the counterpart to, or the clone, or whatever you want to say, the mirror image of like Mercury, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the communication in just this imagery is kind of like reminding me of Mercury. So communication, yeah, this could be, especially with partnerships or like connections, starting to reconnect, that kind of thing. But there's maybe something that needs to be kind of cleansed within a connection as well. Okay, maybe this person. You've also got mother. So the light attribute is nurturance. Nurturance? Okay, nurturance. Patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. I like that patience is in there because I'm not a mother, but I have no doubt having children would be, patience would be a key skill. And also shadow attribute, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. That's something very interesting. So maybe there is some kind of cleanse from there, whether you can talk to the person or not even talk to the person, that's fine. It's more about you releasing or clearing or cleansing some aspect of this. I don't think it's super heavy, because I feel like for some of you this is you as well. The mother figure is you, and needing to start creating. However that is, it doesn't have to be with birth. It can be with like the spark of the divine reigniting within you is kind of how it's coming through. So it's like living truth, living your, like communicating your desires, and you're commanding what you desire in a sense, not in an ego way, just in a like remembering that you are part of the universe. This is a message from the universe, which is literally like a message from everyone, including you. It's like, so you are this great being, let's say. So remembering that, and so commanding it is willing it into your reality. Okay, interesting. You also have narcissistic nymph take back your own power. This is really about reclaiming who you are. And maybe you did get to a point of like reaping, like harvesting, and so it's like, okay, I got this. This is how did I do it in a way that I wanted? You know, questioning some stuff in a way and being like, you know what, I'm gonna do it my way, in a more true to me way, let's say. Yeah, okay, cool. We've also got Akashic Stargate with aligned with purpose, crossroads, and no wrong path. Yeah, this is your time to claim your power back, your sovereignty of who you are. Because sometimes the past isn't with us, right? It's generally never with us. We just like to act like it's still there and it's gonna, the same kind of cycle will happen again. But sometimes we don't have to connect with that anymore, especially if it's not our reality. We just need to be present in our current moment and go, why was I giving my power away to this, and claim it back? Why do I give my power away to this person and, you know, in your current situation, claim it back? Why am I focused so much on the future when it isn't happening right now? Pull it back. It's all about making sure you've got your own peace of mind and sense of self. Because she's even looking at her in the mirror and it's like she doesn't see anything. She's not really paying attention to what is actually right in front of her. And this one kind of looks like she's going to snatch the power away because she's kind of giving it away to her reflection or searching for something else instead of what's true to her. Interesting way of putting it, but that's how it came through. Yep, Ace of Wands, starting something new. New path, new you. Page of Wands. Again, maybe, so it's like starting something new, maybe even picking back up something that you wanted to continue or retry or redo, maybe a new idea on something, a new project, or vice versa, or whatever. It's for you. Hobby, work, workout, health, food, not putting up with people's BS, you know, something like that. It literally feels like that because I'm sure we've all met a narcissistic nymph, let's say, in our lifetime. I feel like some of you are like, oh yeah. Seven of Swords. Really cool. This either is that person in some sense that you kind of like had trouble with, but also I feel like in this one, it's like almost tiptoeing around some people or tiptoeing, playing it safe. And because it's like it's easier to be nice, and I think being nice is absolutely great, but not being walked over. So there's some kind of element of stealth in here. It's like stealthy because you don't want to step on anyone's toes or step on this kind of energy's toes, whoever this is. I'm always like, yes, it's good to be nice, but not to be a doormat or anything like that. Time to end the cycle. Interesting. This does feel like a crossroads, and it's like there's no wrong path, right? So if you are finding this to an overwhelming, it's like it's not a good time, that's okay. This does not have to begin and end on anyone else's terms but your own, and that can be empowering too. Recognizing that you're in control of how you process and deal with challenging people or difficult times in life. It's just empowering to be like, no, I'm going to make sure I don't act out of fear. I act within, you know, the logical things that are happening and some of the like more intuitional kind of pulls you get. It's great when logic and intuition kind of pull you in the same direction, because then you have like a clear knowing that this makes sense and also this feels right, let's say. Kind of like a very sad image too. I don't know if this is going back to like childhood or anything like that, because this is like I can't remember what bird, but it's similar to like a cuckoo, or what I understand cuckoos do. They lay their eggs. The parents don't actually realize that that's not their baby's eggs. They generally hatch earlier, and if they don't, they peck the other ones, flick it out of the nest. They also have like these legs which kick the other eggs out, and so the parents end up feeding this giant bird. essentially, not realizing that it's not actually their children. So I don't know if that story resonated with anyone, but it's just like, that's kind of the sad kind of reality of some things. It's like we feel them in the past as like a failure, but there was lots of learning and growth from that. And if that didn't happen, sure, it might have been better experience, but it did, can't change it. So take I guess the learnings from that, whatever they may be, whatever that might look like. Sometimes it's hard to see. It's like there was zero. It's kind of like the reaction is like nothing good came from it. And it's like, definitely saying nothing happened, like nothing good was from it, putting my foot down. But if you look at it, it's like, yeah, I realize that I never want to be like this. I never want to do that. And so, the benefit is making sure you definitely don't get pulled into that lifestyle or that way of believing or feeling or thinking. Comes with a lot of other things as well. So it's all about essentially claiming your power and making the decision that feels right to you. It says there's no wrong paths. So that's why I'm like, it doesn't feel like you have to do anything right now. It's more like giving yourself space to identify, understand, and continue with what you're doing, or make some small changes, or make the change that you want to see. It's really up to you. The universe is very like, regardless, you'll still have your guides. You'll still have your soul. You'll still be here in some form. With whatever choices you make, you may as well own it and do what feels true to you and what feels right to you. Really interesting. I do like the gratitude one too. Being grateful for being you and being alive, and being, and having, not really being, but having this life to live in, I feel like is something to say. And it's out of victim mentality, getting out of that. Really interesting, kind of deep. I feel like the universe is saying this all with love, but it's kind of like I guess what we would say, like if we heard this from a person, would be like, I mean, I'm a person, I'm saying it, so I'm like, oof. But it's kind of like a lot to take on. So probably sit with this message, resonate with it, and then go on your merry day and see where you have overcome some of this and got it. Because sometimes we overcome it, get over or process all the challenges, and then get to a point, and then we start not necessarily reliving it, but not remembering how strong we actually are, and forgetting that. And then it's like, get your power back again. Sometimes you have to claim it back, even though you've already passed the challenging hurdles. It's just a reminder of like, oh yeah, I'm a strong person. I can get through this. Okay, I'm going to leave that there before I keep going on with it. But thank you very much for letting me read for you today. Have a lovely day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, partner before. Welcome to your reading. So you've chosen Rhodochrosite with service, contentment, healing emotional wounds, and renewal of passion. Interesting, because this Rhodochrosite's been popping up so many times in the readings that I've been doing this, let's say, last few weeks, and also in the readings that I do on Twitch. So interesting. It does feel like it's a time of shift between self and service, or self and others, and consideration. Maybe it is a pullback from service to self, because you're, giving, but not looking after yourself. So now it's like a shift. So maybe you've already gotten through that and started to understand that, and now it's a time to process your stuff, work on helping others, whatever it is. It's either one way or the other. It feels it's like a switch up. It's a gear change. Okay. So let's take a look at your cards. So you've got Lilith with power, activism, and vengeance. Okay, interesting. You also have Air with expansive, intellectual, and inquisitive. Really interesting with the the Lilith card with the power, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've started to do this or started to acknowledge some shadow aspects of that you see within yourself or even within others that you're like, do I want to keep holding on to this old energy, or do I need to shift out of the way of this energy, or do I need to process it, or do I even need to limit my energy from being around this person, people, whatever? Let's take a look. So you've got Thor with action. Yep, it's time to take note. This is definitely like this is a masculine deck that this is from, but this is like a very masculine card. It's like, you know, action card is the doing. And so it's like masculine, like very strong masculine energy to start either shifting the gear or starting to do the things that you have put in place and wanted to do. Now it's time to go. Yeah, power. This feels like transmuting kind of some of the shadow energy into real fuel, let's say. And the air is like touching on more so when I'm talking about that is expansive. It's not about just moving forward, it's moving in many different directions all at once. It's growth. You also have the Virgin, which is such an interesting like Virgin with like the action, because maybe it is something new, something different. Maybe it's something that is like, it's a different way of treating others and yourself. It's like a shift to balance, give and take. It's really interesting. The Virgin light attributes talk about maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit, and the shadow is fear of intimate union. Okay. Interesting. I think there's something there, especially if there's like wounds that you've kind of started to heal or move from. Because you don't want this to turn into like some kind of like anger. I feel like it's anger. This vengeance is like revenge. It's like taking it out on something. And generally when we take it out on someone, we're also taking it out on ourselves. Not just because we're all connected, but also when we have feelings, right? So when we think we're getting someone back, it's also hurting us. We're hurting ourselves in a sense because we're spending a lot of energy. We're also giving them the energy, even though we're like lashing out. I don't think this is for everyone, but I just think it needs to be said. So take what resonates. You also have Exhausted Eagles, seek support. Yep, if you need support or help with this. Maybe sometimes seeking support isn't necessarily getting a professional help. It's more like it can be doing a meditation, taking a salt bath, but then also taking some time for yourself, actually going on holiday or resting. Support doesn't have to be external from yourself. Maybe it's seeking support within yourself from your guides, from the universe or God or whatever you kind of channel, kind of vibe with. Oh, this is sweet. You've also got High Heart activation with dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. Really nice right next to the Virgin as well. It's like something pure and innocent, feeling like you've lost that, but it's not true. You'll always have it. You'll always have that that beauty. If you've had it once in your life, you always got it. And sometimes it's just our mindset that's like our ego that's like, no, we've lost it. We have to do this to protect ourselves. We have to be, you know, and then we build up all these structures and get rigid. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot. So you've got the 8 of Wands. This is a swift movement. So you've got action with Thor and the 8 of Wands, which is like a change in direction sometimes, but also it can be like quick action, quick movement. It's like that shift. So it's like here, she's got a message on her phone that her Uber's here, so she needs to get out there and then go. And then the Uber will take her to where she needs to be, her next destination. Also got the Knight of Pentacles, which is kind of funny because it's quick, right? And then the Knight is still a moving member of the Knights, but the slower one. So it's like the more intelligent, I guess you would say, more grounded. It's like, let's plan this out and then go. And that could be how you start to shift some of this either old energy, or you've started to shift it and now need some kind of like break or rest. Something to take care of your higher heart, your inner, I would say your heart chakra, or even your core, if that makes sense. The core of who you are, the soul of who you are. And just aligning yourself with not just truth, but what's here now, what's present, what's right in the middle. Because I think that'll help you refresh and then remind yourself of what's true to you, and what's at the heart of the present. I said that right. It's like, what's at the heart of the issue? What's at the heart of the blessing? What's at the heart of many things? I think going into your heart and into your center will help you understand these feelings, things, what to do, because everything seems like it's already all within you. Okay, yeah, very intelligent. You've got the King of Swords. This can also touch on it's like interesting because it's like here it's got the owl here, which is about wisdom, generally about knowledge. Swords, mind, mostly focus on the mind. And then here we've got all these poppies, so it's like dreams, or like there's something dreamy with it. So it's kind of touching on not dreams exactly. What's the right way of putting this? It's like reconnecting with, again, I feel like they keep saying, like, reiterate this, but it's like, again, reconnecting with the values that you want to shift into your now, into your body, or into your environment now. Just because people have put you in a box, or you put yourself in a box, doesn't mean, and you want to shift out of it, nothing's stopping you from shifting out. Just because these other people expect this, and this, doesn't mean that you have to live by this, and this, just because they are more comfortable with that. You're not here to make other people feel comfortable when it's like something that's not about them, right? You're who you are at a core level isn't about someone else. That's it. Okay, good. I think I got it, and now they're happy. So then we've got Seven of Pentacles right under the Knight of Pentacles, which kind of feels like that's starting to shift, starting to sow the seeds into your life that you want to see sprouted. Is really coming along. But there's so many things, like there's so much action and movement here as well. Planning and movement. It's not just wildfire kind of like, yeah, let's go. It's planned, it's calculated, it's thought out, and I think you already have enough knowledge of what to do. You've planned enough, let's say. You don't want to turn it into procrastination, so it's time to take action on what's going to give you the power back to you. If you're pulled to pile 2, this feels like maybe go to there and have a look. Up to you, of course. But don't be afraid of your own kind of power, I want to say. Because we can all have high power, and where we utilize that is really important, because we can make beautiful things in our life and create amazing things for others, or we could destroy. You know, that's our power. So where do you want to start shifting that? Up to you. Absolutely up to you. Get into your core if you can, if you're like feeling stuck, because it's really where all your power is, or your what do you call it? Soul power. Interesting. I feel like there's more messages, but they're like, we won't go into that because you have enough from here to know what this is about. That's literally how it feels. So I guess I'll just leave it then. But lovely reading. Lots of like little bits here and there. I've almost forgotten the reading already. But hopefully this has helped. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the notes, and I'll check them out and I'll say hello as well. But otherwise, take care of yourself, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next reading.